Hello everyone, welcome to today's video on working with React components. In this video, we're going to develop a clock component which is going to print a time of a time zone. So let's get started. In order to follow this video, you need to have a React project setup. You can do this by cloning this repository, React Introduction, which I will link it in this video. And after you have cloned this repository, you will need to go inside the app directory. You can see this, there's a directory called app, and you go inside the app directory and do npm install. After installing the dependencies, you can just do npm start to start the dev environment, which will have a hot reload. As and when you change the code, you will see the changes reflected in this localhost 3000. Okay, so let's get started. Let's first create a component. Okay, and inside the components folder we'll create a new file called clock.jsx, and this is a JavaScript file, and in that JavaScript file we'll create a JavaScript function called clock. React components are basically JavaScript functions, and they return a JSX. In this case, let's return a div, and inside this div let's print my clock for now. Okay, now we will export this, export default clock, and we are exporting this function clock here. Now we'll import it in our app.js, and this will render the clock component in the app, printing it here, my clock, right? So now let's implement the clock. We're going to print the time, right? So let's do a date object here, new date, which gives us a date object. Now let's create a time string, right? We'll do date dot to local string, right, which gives us a string. We'll pass it local us, and we're going to print the time string here. Now if you go back and refresh, you can see it is printing a time, which is the local time. Here it is 8:30 p.m. Right, now let's pass a time zone to this clock, right? So from there, in this app.js, we can pass a prop called time zone. Okay, and let's pass, let's say, America / New York, right? So this is what you're passing as a time zone. Now we have passed it here. Now you have to capture it here. So React provides it as an argument to your component, whatever you pass it here in this. So this is in the props argument. Now we are going to extract the time zone from there. So we got the time zone from here, and we can check this. It is what we are passing by rendering it in our component UI, right? So now if you go back to the browser and refresh, you can see it's a America time zone, right? But it's not showing the time of America because we have not passed it to the date object, right? So now in the date to local string, we can pass an options which will be a time zone, and this time zone refers to this object, right? So now we are printing the time of America, right, which is 10 a.m. at this moment. Right now we want this time to update, right, to make the clock dynamic, right? So in order to do that, you need to use useEffect and React state, right? So you need to use the React useState method, right? So let's start by creating a variable time string, and you can say set time as the setter, and we'll use useState from React, and let's set this to empty string for now. So how do you set this? We'll use in this component, we'll use a timer, and this timer would be changing the date in the state, right? So let's do that. We'll create a useEffect. UseEffect is basically a React provided hook, and this basically executes the callback that we pass. This callback that we pass on mount once, and inside this we'll be creating a timer, right? We'll be creating a timer, and to set interval, yeah, we'll use set interval of JavaScript, and inside this we'll pass a callback, and every minute oh sorry, every second we're going to run this function. Right now we'll bring this code from here inside this, right? And this is our time string. Now what we want to do is that we want it to update the state, right? So we'll do set time, which is a setter, and inside this we'll pass our new time string, right? So this is how we're going to set, and you can see that it's using this variable time zone in the useEffect. So useEffect also contains a dependency array here, which tells that what are the dependencies of this function. We are using time zone as it is passed to the props. We need to pass this as a dependency array. What happens in this case is that this time zone, whenever the time zone changes, we are going to re-execute this callback as a dependency change, right? This callback, we're going to return a cleanup function, which will be called when we are unmounting our application. So we're going to do a clear interval here, and we're going to pass the time ID. And now here, instead of time str, we're going to do time string, right? So this is how we are updating our state time string from our useEffect, uh, which is running an interval every second and updating the time string using the setter. And we're clearing the timer when we're unmounting this component, right? So now we go back to our application. You can see that this is updating, and the time zone is America, New York for now, because we are passing America, New York in our app.js. Now let's copy this component and change the time zone to some other place. Let's say Asia, Kolkata. So now you can see that it is now printing two clocks. One is of America, New York, and another one is Asia, Kolkata. That's so that shows that we can reuse our clock component using different properties. Like in this case, we are printing two clocks, one for America and one for Kolkata. You can also change it to some other place, and as many time zone you want, you can show the clock. The inner working stays the same, only the props changes, and this is Karachi, and you can see HSS Karachi. So these are the uh, time of this time zone as of now. So this is about it. We have learned about React props. We have seen uh, React state, how to use React state using the hook useState, and we have seen useEffect. useEffect is basically a lifecycle hook that provides your interactivity with your React application's lifecycle. So this is a callback inside which we are passing, we are actually creating an interval, and we are clearing the interval on unmount by passing a cleanup function to our useEffect. We are using this time zone as a dependency because we are going to change our timer as and when we are changing our dependency. Yes, as and when your dependency changes, your clear interval will be called. This is as a cleanup method, right? And we are printing the time and time zone here as a string. Thank you.